I think the big problem this country has is being politically correct. I've been challenged by so many people, and I don't frankly have time for total political correctness. And to be honest with you, this country doesn't have time either.
Yes, political correctness is out. American exceptionalism is back, ready to re-empower our republic as one nation under God by restoring our unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives, with your host, John Matthews.
It's a latter-day prophet, saying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together we seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your hosts of the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos. Greetings, salutations out there all around the world and across this great land of ours. It's that time once again. Time for the Conservative Syndicate, coming to you live right now, coast to coast and around the world. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, and we are here to do what we do best, and that is to engage, educate, inform, and engage you, our listening audience, on the politics of religion and the religion of politics. And I'm glad to have you with us today. If I might sound a little bit discombobulated today, making travel plans. I'm going to be heading out to the Philippines, midnight tomorrow night out here on the left coast time out here. And last minute stuff as always, and just kind of distracted me a little bit, but we got our act together here. And, you know, when you're dealing with liberals, it's not so hard to keep up with them. It's just not really anything different. It's just how are they repackaging something? Where are they on the repackaging timeline? The new and improved packaging. You know how it is out there. You got products and you go on the shelf and you see new and improved written across the label, or the one I like better. They change the look of the package. You know, a different type of bottle or a different type of box or something, and put new and improved on it. And that's supposed to make the product so much better. That's when you're talking about Democrats, that's all you're talking about. Same stuff, repackaged. Maybe the label has been changed, but it's all the same ingredients, and that is the undermining of our Constitution and this great republic called the United States of America. So we're glad to have you with us, and we haven't missed a beat. Weekend's been kind of interesting. Some Twitter feuds going on out there. You know, I'm beginning to think that perhaps this entire administration, Donald Trump, is going to be gauged by his Twitter account rather than anything he does with the pen and phone, if I can put it that way. Anyway, let me get my partner in crime online here. Joe, how are you doing today?
Thanks, John. I'm doing quite well. I'm enjoying the day. One of the things that really bugged me over the weekend, and it kept on coming up, and I kept on hearing, even on conservative radio, I kept on hearing this, was the penchant for people to call the Democrat Party the Democratic Party, and to call our nation a democracy. It's just killing me. Every time I want to scream every time I hear this.
I get you. Well, it's kind of like telling us that the DNC is a party, right?
Yeah, it's like we are a republic. Yeah, we are a republic. What they hacked was the Democrat Party. These people aren't democratic. They're Democrats. Stop it.
Well, but you know, we talk about it so often on this show, and it is so evident that if you really want to understand liberals, it's like, in fact, I even floated the idea. I think I was talking with somebody, one of our former contributors out there, Karen Sigmund. I think that's who it was. We were talking one day.
You mentioned her.
Huh?
I'm glad you mentioned Karen.
Oh, okay. What's going on?
You know something about it? Karen took the time to go to a And I'm just going to read from her post that she put on social media here at Facebook. She said a group of her and some people went to MoveOn.org meeting. And you're going to love this because this is absolutely perfect. All right. Their purpose was to start an organizing to resist, quote unquote, Trump, quote unquote, every step of the way. In contrast, of course, to the Tea Party, which had a mission of smaller government, et cetera, et cetera. But no. The left is about subversion and hate and obstruction, regardless of whatever it is. Few of us went, and I just sort of walked in and get the lay of the land. They were very well organized. 4 major areas they wanted to fight were maintaining Obamacare, immigration rights, watchdog in the Congress, and the fourth was, she didn't remember, weekly rallies. They were going to conduct weekly rallies at elected officials' offices and so on. So climate change was not one of these missions that they had, at least for that day. And she goes, and before they broke into groups, she stood up and she asked a question. She was very respectful and she said, great to see so many of you here. I wanted to take our country back, their expression, quote unquote. And she said, I said, since we're here fighting for our country, wouldn't it be great if we all could just take a moment and say, the Pledge of Allegiance. Perhaps there's a veteran who would like to lead it. And incredibly, she says, she was booed. She goes, I was called out of order, and the leader said, we don't do that. Republicans do that. I said, wait, so the pledge is a Republican thing? Yep. And she was booed. And which was okay because there was no flag. And she said the only flag-like objects were rainbow banners. And there's nothing indicating it was a church. The guy next to me with whom she had been talking to said, hey, noble sentiment. I said, too noble. These aren't my people. And she left and she can't wait to go do it again. You go, Karen.
All right. So she crashed the MoveOn.org people, huh?
Yes, she did. And that's just awesome. Yeah, the Pledge of Allegiance is just too radical for them to even bother with.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there looking at her Facebook page. She's got a thing on here, a YouTube video. Undercover investigation exposes groups plotting criminal activity at Trump inauguration.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah, this is. I may have to talk to her and see if I can get her on the phone. If she can overcome. If she can look the other way here, because, we were kind of on different sides of the argument here during the election here.
So but that. And that's going on, and it's going on throughout the country, John. It's just not there with folks like you and Karen. The Republican Party of Florida has had their little annual meeting down south in Orlando way, and the same kind of silliness is going on a statewide level there.
Oh, yeah, here we got this. Are you looking at the article on Breitbart?
No, but I can. I
got it right here in front of me. Let's share this. This made what she did made Breitbart. Resist Trump meeting, refuses to recite Pledge of Allegiance. Santa Monica, left-wing organizers refused to request to recite the Pledge of Allegiance during Resist Trump meeting on Sunday, sponsored by MoveOn.org, and planned protests against President-elect. The pledge was rejected because it was not on the agenda. Karen Sigmund, chair of the American Freedom Alliance, stood up and asked if the pledge could be recited before the discussion began. Perhaps we have a veteran in the room who would be happy to lead us to the Pledge of Allegiance. Voices could be heard saying, oh God, and no from various parts of the room. A man named Gene, who was leading the meeting, said, I'm sorry, but just to keep this meeting moving, I agree with you. I'm a recovering Republican, and I agree with you. However, I'm going to rule that motion out of order simply because it's not on the agenda. Of course it's not on the agenda. This is MoveOn.org, for crying out loud. Oh, so... discussions, immigration, Republican efforts to repeal and replace the ACA, and planning upcoming rallies. All right, some of the women are going to be flying to D.C. to attend the Women's March, and the march is set to be one of the America's largest protests. Where have we heard that before?
Yeah, I know. The thing is, John, is they've got other organizations that are actually out there, and they are going to try their darndest to disrupt everything. And these are the same folks, i.e., the same folks that did things in New York, that did things in Chicago, et cetera, et cetera. So, unfortunately, some of these folks just don't get it, and they're going to be very disruptive.
Yeah, and we're gonna share that with you when we get back. I mean, we've been hearing all this stuff on the left about, the resist Trump and everything. I'm going to share with you a few things that I've collected over the last 24, 48 hours coming from the other side of the argument. And I think you're going to find them to be not only, I think, more truthful and more articulate, but definitely more accurate. So we got to go to break. When we come back, we'll be back. Okay, we stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away. We're not arguing. We're explaining why we're right. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
Now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. All right, hey, we're back, and you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I am your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. You know, in line with what we were just talking about, the little organization out here in Santa Monica, MoveOn.org, and Karen Sigmund used to be one of our contributors on this show. She heads up the organization Rage Against the Media, and what was mentioned in the Breitbart article, she became the chair of the American Freedom Alliance. And that's actually why she left the show, because she was just becoming so overwhelmed with her chairmanship responsibilities that it just became too much for her. Plus, she got a job teaching, and it's really something that she got a the perfect position for somebody like her, teaching at a private school, academy type environment, where she's allowed to talk about politics. She teaches math. She's got a doctorate in mathematics, and she uses politics to teach math, things about the economy and stuff like that. So, and she gets away with it. Nobody hammers her about it. So, it's interesting. It's an amazing feat to be able to do that. But she's out there in the trenches doing what a lot of people just won't do, and that's getting dirty, getting out there and getting the uniform dirty. I was looking at a picture here that was posted on her Facebook account, her and a few others, 6 people, I guess, from the Republican side, because I know Karen is a very staunch Republican, not a conservative in the way that we look at conservatives, but she's very much a Republican. And she has a sign I thought was really nice. I mean, just beautiful play on words. We won, you lost, move on. Just that's it, man. That's it.
Exactly what some other folks said 8 years ago.
Yeah. Get over it. Yeah. I was looking at it. You don't speak for us is one of the signs. Trump won, move on. Get over it. Trump president, get over it. That kind of stuff. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here as the inauguration comes down. Unfortunately, I know that they'll probably pick this up to some degree over in the Philippines, but I expect very little coverage over there because they're not talking about Obama. The Philippines is the news media in the Philippines. I'm not saying the people. This is something that we really need to kind of understand. When we talk in this show about movements and we talk about organizations and when we talk about the Democrat Party or the leftist organizations that are attached to it or the DNC, we're really not encompassing the entire, every single Democrat that walks the face of this nation, because I think a lot of Democrats, like a lot of Republicans, are really sincere in their ignorance. Okay, it's not that they just don't know what they don't know. So I'm not real quick to just say, well, every Democrat's an idiot, because obviously not every Democrat would be. Of course, the ones that are Democrats that are not stupid are basically, just ignorant, either willfully or, just don't want to be bothered with it, that kind of thing. Kind of like Christians, actually. But and the same with the Republicans. A lot of Republicans that I talk to really don't know how deep everything is. They're locked into their little, mindset as to what they are and what they think they should be. They're still living in the past.
Well, they're stuck with the swamp. To them is not is an okay place to live.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal, that kind of thing. So, I try to differentiate between that. I have the same problem when I talk to people about the church. When I say the church, I don't mean that every Christian sitting in the pews in a church, are willfully conspiring or willfully complicit. I think a lot of them just don't know. And what I'm talking about is people that lead these groups, people that lead these organizations, people that lead these parties and these churches, people that know better. And do it anyway. Some of them do it out of fear. Some of them, fear of ostracization or being, labeled as something. Some of them do it out of fear of being rejected by family and friends and, this, that, and the other. But, that's just the nature of humanity. That's what makes us fallible, is that even though we have our beliefs, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. I had a big discussion over the weekend with one of my friends. And he kept telling me, that was then, this is now. And I'm going, but truth doesn't change. It's just the people's perception of it changes. And that's what makes everything so bad, because rather than you going back to the absolutes of our foundation, for instance, and just saying, okay, this is what the country was founded on. These were the principles that our framers established the republic on. And going back to that and using that as a gauge to measure what's going on today, no, they don't want to do that. That's too much effort. It's better off just let the people say what they want to say. The biggest problem we've had in this country for the last 60 years is that people, the government would never do that. Okay? They would never go that deep. The intelligence communities, they would never conspire with the party to undermine Trump. Of course they wouldn't do that. They're people of integrity. Most people can't even define what integrity is anymore. So let's be realistic about this. This idea that one of the talking subjects over the weekend was one of the intelligence agencies guys, not one of the big guys, not like Clapper or Comey or somebody, but he's kind of like second or third tier, was on, I think, with Chris Wallace over the weekend. And I didn't watch it. I was just hearing kind of third party here, some of the things they were talking about. And he was saying, that, Trump, he defended Trump in terms of what the media was trying to do, but he also was upset that Trump would question the integrity of the intelligence community. And I'm sitting there going, well, why wouldn't we do that? You look at you weigh the things out here. Later on in the show, I'm going to lay out to you a timeline. I spent time over the weekend because it gets so discombobulated so quick these days. You really have to sit back and say, okay, what set this whole thing in motion? What put a particular event within the narrative timeline that the left keeps trotting out? What triggered this? What triggered this whole idea of the Russian hacking the election, that kind of thing, even though we know that's not exactly what happened, but that's the word. It
was the corruption of the Democrat Party in the United States of America.
Yeah, and one thing I know I've mentioned this at least twice that I can think of on this show. Everything the Clintons touch, they pollute. And if there's never been a better example of what has taken place within this government since Barack Obama came on the scene, and basically, I guess they put Hillary in a little box back in 2008. Now, we want the black guy rather than the first female president, and we'll get you next time around. And since that time, not to say that Obama was squeaky clean when he came in, but I'm talking about the fact that what I'm saying here is as soon as Clinton became Secretary of State, everything began to get polluted. And you can see it. It's so damn obvious that, you have to be willfully a denier. They yell at us about being climate change deniers. You got to be a major denier if you can look at the history of the Clintons and tell me that it was a vast right-wing conspiracy that put all this together against them. They're not that powerful, and they're not that good. So let's get over this. This idea that Hillary Clinton is she really the most qualified person to run for president since Thomas Jefferson? Give me a freaking break, for crying out loud.
Ever.
Yeah, ever. If that was the case, Brock, why did you run in 2008? If she was the most qualified. So, this idea that the Clintons are somehow, top-tier politicians.
That's why I can say with confidence, there has never been a man or a woman, not me, not Bill, nobody more qualified than Hillary Clinton to serve as President of the United States of America.
Well, I just had to play it again.
Yeah, I like how he put his little Negro dialect there to anybody.
Yeah, got everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, so let me do this. Let me do this because I'm going to get distracted here, and we'll do what we do way too often. Sometimes we'll get off topic here, and we'll not get to what I really want to get to today. I don't have the whole week to make it up, so I got to. Somebody sent me a letter. A couple of people actually sent me this same letter. I believe one of them was, Robert Cardoso, one of our contributors, Robert Cardoso, sent me this. And then a gentleman we had on the show, what was it, either last week or the week before, Dennis Morrison, author of the book, The Ultimate Christian Prepper. And they sent me this thing. And this is from a letter that was written, an open letter, written to the Democrat Party. And it was written specifically to the Hollywood people in the Democrat Party. The guy's name is Jerry Johnson. I don't know if he's affiliated with anybody or anything. It's just, this is an open letter that was forwarded to me. And I thought it appropriate to read it. I'm going to take the time to read it here. He says, to all the Hollywood and those who live, work elsewhere, celebrity crybabies. You are only entertainment. It's time to wake up now. Get this. The only reason you exist is for my entertainment. Some of you are beautiful. Some of you can deliver a line with such conviction that you bring tears to my eyes. Some of you are so convincing that you scare the crap out of me. And others are so funny you can make me laugh uncontrollably. But you all have one thing in common. You only exist and have a place in my world to entertain me. That's it. Nothing else. You make your living pretending to be someone else. You play dress up like a 5-year-old. Your world is a make-believe world. It is not real. It doesn't exist. You live for the camera while the rest of us live in the real world. You are overpaid crybabies. Your entire existence depends on my patronage. I grind the organ and you dance. Therefore, I don't care where you stand on issues. Honestly, your opinions mean nothing to me. Your view matters far less to me than that of someone living in Timbuktu. Believe me or not, the hard truth is that you aren't real. When I turn off my TV or shut down my computer, you cease to exist. Once I am done, you are too, until it's time for you to entertain me again. I don't care that you think BP executives deserve the death penalty. I don't care what you think about the environment. I don't care if you believe fracking is bad. I don't care if you call for more gun control. I don't care if you believe in catastrophic human-induced global warming. And I could care less that you supported Hillary for president. Get back to your bubble. I'll let you know when I'm in the mood for something pretty or scary or funny. And one other thing. What was all this, I'll leave the country if Donald Trump wins? Don't you know how stupid that made you sound? What did you think my reaction was going to be? I better not vote for Trump or we'll lose Whoopi Goldberg, Rosie O'Donnell, Barbara Streisand? Hey, leave. I don't care. And don't let the doorknob hit you in the butt on the way out. Make me laugh, make me cry, even scare me. But realize this, the only words of yours that matter are scripted, just like your pathetic little lives. I may agree with some of you from time to time, but in the final analysis, it doesn't matter. In my world, you exist solely for our entertainment. So shut your big mouths and dance, monkey, dance.
That's funny.
That's funny, yeah. You know, he's if somebody from the left reads this, of course he's a racist because he mentioned the word monkey. You know, that kind of thing. So that's what's happening here. Now, let me go one other one here. One other little short article here. You know, what's the name of that football player, the 49ers? I never could pronounce his last name, but the one that wouldn't stand for the national anthem.
That would be the one and only Colin Kaepernick. Yeah,
and everybody tried to make this guy into some kind of patriotic hero for refusing to stand. Some of them have gone along with him. Anyway, the tweet war that's going on between Donald Trump and John Lewis, Congressman John Lewis, and we're going to get into more of this after the break. But I wanted to read this to you if you're not, unless you got your head in the sand, you know what's going on. Houston Astro pitcher Colin McHugh fired back at Donald Trump on Saturday after the president-elect sent a pair of tweets ripping civil rights icon and respected Congressman John Lewis. Lewis, who represents Georgia's 5th congressional district, had gone on record questioning the legitimacy of Trump's presidency until a thorough investigation of Russia's alleged involvement in the election was completed. This predictability led to a Twitter storm of Trump proportions, with the president-elect sending the following tweets, and they read off the tweets. Basically, what he said was, Lewis needs to spend more time taking care of his district than worrying about the results of an election. McHugh, who lives in Lewis's district during the offseason, would take exception to his tweets and call out Trump for spewing rhetoric not consistent with what he sees and lives. Okay, now, I'm going to tell you this. McHugh went on to later say that he's not really defending John Lewis, and he was not intended to be anti-Trump, but rather he was taking an anti-bullying and pro-respect stance. Well, there's a leftist talking to you, okay? Anti-bullying and if John Lewis is being bullied by Donald Trump after 40-some-odd years in Congress, the guy needs to step down, for crying out loud. You can't handle a little criticism? And what's the big deal about making comments about somebody who has made his entire life on about marching with Martin Luther King in Selma in 1965? For crying out loud, that was 40 years ago. What have you been doing lately? You know, what's that song Janet Jackson used to sing? What have you done for me lately? Okay, that's what we should be asking John Lewis. We're going to talk more about that in just a minute here. We got to go to a break. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got. Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest, who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923 and like them on Facebook and you'll be included in contest and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So, why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907. 800-978-3907. 800-978-3907. 800-978-3907.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-380-2906. That's 800-380-2906. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-380-2906.
And now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. And we're back, and you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. And I am your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And,
yeah, John Matthews, the only guy that could put John Lewis and Janet Jackson in the same sentence.
Well, and do it disparagingly.
There you go.
Oh, I like that. I like that. You know, I was just saying, Joe had shown me this comment earlier on the show here about the security for the Trump inauguration, because obviously there's going to be a lot of stuff going on out there. And, here's in line with what we were talking about, though. This idea that we've got all these Democrats now, these Congress people, I think the count's up to 10 the last time I heard.
I thought it was more like 30 of them.
Oh, is it now? Okay, well, let's look at it this way. I think it's great that they're not going. I really do. I think, the more of them to stay home, the more room for somebody to be there that wants to be there. And you know what? So what? It's not like you guys are relevant anyway. You lost, okay? And if you want to sit home because you think there's some principle to be garnered from it, so what? So what? This is the whole thing. In fact, I'll give you this thing, a little tweet somebody put out there. And I just want to read this to you. It's just a tweet. It was put out by Sally Cohn. Sally Cohn?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Cohn or Cohn. Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I guess she's some kind of media head out there somewhere. And she said, this is back on November 8th, the day of the election. My sense is that if Trump wins, Hillary supporters will be sad. If Hillary wins, Trump supporters will be angry. Important difference. Now think about that just for a second. She got it completely bass-ackwards. Okay? It's the Hillary people who are angry, and the Trump people, we're just kind of laughing at it. We're looking at the show going, yeah, this is great entertainment. This is better than Ultimate Fighting or roller derby, or WWF wrestling. It's like, because it's all being staged, and it's all fake. And the only people that are being sucked up into it are the average Joe, and I'm not referring to Hakos, the average person out there. I should refrain from that because I hate people calling the bathroom John, so I guess I should not say our average Joe. But anyway, the point being is that the average American out there, the average what's Jonathan Gruber? What am I thinking here? The stupidity of the American voter. They're going to be all these people are going to be caught up in the hype and the emotion and everything else, and it doesn't mean anything. At the end of the day, Donald Trump is going to take his place in the White House, and he's going to begin to dismantle the last 8 years of Barack Obama. And let's hope it goes back to dismantling some of George W. Bush and Bill Clinton, for crying out loud.
Hey, let's check this out too. And most of it's going to be fairly easy to go ahead and turn back. The only one that's really going to be really difficult is because it is in law, and that will be Obamacare.
Yeah. And I'm again, the false narrative, the false news out there. The media's out there talking about how Republicans are backpedaling on the repeal of Obamacare because their constituents are just really upset about this. This kind of thing. And it just goes along with this whole idea that everybody thinks, the media's out there trying to trot out this narrative. They're still trying to fit it within their template, the way that they normally report things. And they just keep hammering it. And I guess they just think that the only people it's convincing or the only people it's reinforcing are the ones that already think that way. Okay? But I'm telling you, people that voted for Donald Trump, we didn't vote for him because of his looks. We didn't vote for him because of his stances. We voted for him because he was a guy that could talk the same way that we talk, saying the same things that we say, and actually knows how to do what he says he wants to do. And it wasn't about this. Trump doesn't fit the political template in any way, shape, or form. And he never claimed to. He just said, we got to make America great again. We got to make America number one. We've got to quit doing what we're doing. Quit giving away this.
That's nationalistic. That's so nationalistic. Oh, my goodness. You can't be. We're part of the global society now. We're so nationalistic. We can't be number one. Why about America first? That's so bad.
And now all these, I want to call for these committee hearings to see what kind of associations Donald Trump has with Russia. Well, the only associations he's got with him, as far as we know, are the ones that you have manufactured.
Yeah, what about the ones that Hillary Clinton has with Russia?
Yeah. What about that? What about the reset button? What about the uranium?
Speaking of Hillary Clinton, yes, the Clinton Foundation is supposed to be shuttering their doors forever, just like Barnum and Bailey's greatest show on earth.
Yeah.
Circus is closing its doors after 150 years.
Wow. That's too bad because I understand they finally got their first woman ringmaster.
Well, just too bad. The animal rights people won.
Yeah.
and two organizations that really abused elephants.
Oh, yeah.
The Clinton Foundation and Barnum and Bailey.
Yeah, that's funny. I think it should just. I think both parties need to adapt a new logo, a new mascot, the double-headed jackass.
20-some Democrats aren't going to go to the inauguration. You got John Lewis saying that Donald Trump is not a valid candidate. He's not the guy. He didn't win the election. It's tainted by the Russians. Hey, John, you're just an idiot.
Yeah.
I don't give a crap. You're an idiot. You're still stuck on the Selma Bridge. And guess what? Those were Democrats that were beating the crap out of you, John.
Yeah. There you go. And so if I can, let me close up this one part of this segment here. I want to talk about this article here. I've been just floating these articles out here that are, like I said, the other side of the fence, the other side of the Trump argument. And some of these people that are writing these things don't like Trump. Okay, that's not the point. They're looking at the big picture. They're looking at everything and going, "This is insanity." In the words of Howard Beale, my idol. You got to stop the madness. You got to stop the madness, okay? This is insanity, okay? Dear Democrats, this is from The Observer, Clifton Brown. Dear Democrats, nobody cares about your feelings. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what this is. Everything is run by the Democrats by how pissed off can they get somebody or how warm and fuzzy can they make you feel. It doesn't matter whether there's any substance to it. It's just to get you to move in one direction or the other. Eric Hoffman has a name for it. It's called the true believer. And that's what they're doing. They're appealing to the true believers that really exist in all of us. All of us have a certain thing, a certain place in our hearts and our minds that we can, if that button is pushed, we'll move. And we'll move quickly. And we'll move ostensively, and we will move to win, and we will sacrifice, and some of us would even die for what we believe. But at least if you're going to be that way, do it for the right thing. Jeez, I'd hate thinking I'm giving my life for the wrong thing. that kind of thing. Anyway, Clifton Brown says the Democrats have lost 3 of the last 4 federal elections, 2010, 2014, and 2016, in large part because they are still clinging to the comforting but false notion that voters punish bad behavior. See, that was the thing. Trump is a bad guy. He's a bad boy. He does bad things. And they thought that would completely override and erase that Hillary Clinton is a bad girl and does bad things. The Democrat 2016 presidential campaign essentially focused on proving Donald Trump was too boorish to be an acceptable occupant of the highest office in the land. More than 2 months after the stunning defeat of Hillary Clinton, there seems to be no evidence that the Democrats have learned anything. They continue to harp on whatever makes Trump look unpresidential, and while there is unquestionably plenty of material there, it is also clear that there aren't enough voters who care about such things to swing an election. If there were, Trump would not have prevailed. Good point. If Trump was so unpopular, he wouldn't have won. And don't give me this crap about popular vote versus electoral college. He kicked her ass in the electoral college. All right? This woman took only 57 districts in the entire country, for crying out loud. The lowest vote total of any presidential candidate in the last 40 years. So, you know.
There's the thing out there. If you take away at least 9 counties off the election, Trump wins the popular vote.
Yeah. Well, he goes on to say that.
That's 9 counties, not districts. That's just counties.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got it. Yeah, you're right. I'm glad you clarified that here. He says Clinton won the popular vote, and she won it decisively by nearly 3 million ballots, okay? California and New York gave her that. That brings us to another thing Democrats haven't learned but need to soon. The necessity of focusing on what's important in terms of winning and losing. It's irrelevant that Clinton won the popular vote.
Hey, check it out. That's the same thing that the Republicans were told when they lost in 2008 and 2012.
Yep, exactly. In that vein, here's another lesson he goes on to say Democrats need to learn. Complaining about the rules won't change the results. All right? So your outcry over gerrymandering and voter ID requirements, you simultaneously accept that these devices are in place to suppress Democratic votes, and also understand as long as Republicans hold power, these devices will remain in place. Here's another thing he says. Closely related lesson Democrats would do well to learn. Nobody cares about your feelings.
Yes.
You can march, yell, and sign petitions all you want, but your voice won't be heard until you figure out where the correct pressure points are located. Conservatives understand the importance of power, and they go all out to get it and to block their opponents from exercising it. Progressives, meanwhile, are addicted to the affections of powerlessness. The protest march, the petition, the complaint, the indignation over unfair play and hypocrisy, and the incessant pleading for those who hold power to listen to them. It would serve the left to stop clinging to an idealized version of how things should work and instead accept how they actually work. It is far more important to understand power, what it is, how to get it, how to use it, and how to keep it. So what he's basically saying is the reason the conservatives have been winning is because they know how to win. Now, we can talk all day long about exactly how does that play out in the nuts and bolts, but how about if we put it this way? 8 years of Obama, 1,042 Democratic seats lost. 60 House representatives lost. 30 Senate seats lost. Governorships, only 12 of the states in the union now have Democratic governors. That's what he's talking about. So while the Democrats make all the noise, the conservatives just move up the power ladder. That's what's going on here. We got to go to break. We'll be right back, guys. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. There is an old saying, children should be seen but not heard. At no time is this more apparent than when politicians speak. TheConservativeSyndicate.net, the adults in the room. Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardosa. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardosa Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them their potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The Alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring. Now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. All right, hey, we're back. Hey, you know what? You want to check out our website, theconservativesyndicate.net. Check it out anytime. It's there 24/7, 365 days a week. It's there. Find our shows. Find out about our contributor panel and, all the good things like that. Now, we got Joe's got one more thing he wants to add to our little discussion here on the, I don't even know how we would title this, the stupidity of the American voter. How about that? Let's put that out there. Joe, you had something you wanted to add here? Yeah, this last article that you were reading from the Observer, Clifton Brown, where it goes, conservatives understand the importance of power and they go out to get it and block their opponents from exercising it. Bullcrap. That's what the Democrats do as well. The Democrats know exactly how to do that. They know exactly how they were doing it. They did it in the early 90s. They did it in the run up to Barack Obama's election. And what it was the stupidity of the American vote. No, some people actually woke up and said, whoa, we can't have this, because they saw what the Republicans were doing and they see what the Democrat will do. So they know exactly what this is. Both sides of the aisle know exactly that. Progressives, meanwhile, are addicted to the affiliations of powerlessness. Bullcrap. This is so much, that is malarkey. That is absolute malarkey. I would say another word, but we're trying to let young children hear this at times, while they might be in the car or something. So no way. It's a bunch of BS for sure. It's like, no. Don't get me wrong. The Democrat Party knows exactly what to do to defeat a Republican in the next election. That's why if you're a Republican and you think you got this made because Donald Trump is going to sit in the White House, no, you got another thought coming. You got an absolute another thought coming, because you remember another guy named Bush that only lasted 4 years and brought about Bill Clinton? Tell me they didn't know how to win. Yeah, well, I'm only gonna differ with you on this statement by you, Joe, to one degree. I understand what you're saying here, but see, this is where we have to be very. When I saw this, I thought the same thing you did. And when I first read the article and I went through it, and I saw this, conservatives understand the importance of power, and then they go all out to get it. And I'm thinking that doesn't really identify today's Republican Party. Yes. Okay, but conservatives understand the importance of party, not Republicans. See, that I got stuck in that word. I'll be honest with you. I spent 5 minutes reading this paragraph when I went over it, and I said that it doesn't sound right, because looking at what the landscape today, we know that the Republicans don't know how to use power. Absolutely. Otherwise, do you realize that Barack Obama had 13 of his cabinet positions confirmed by voice vote in one day? Yeah, well, and do we also know that the last 4 years of administration, actually the last 6 years of administration, we had a big enough Republican majority in the House that they could have stopped anything they wanted to stop, and they chose not to.
Yep.
So, yeah, I agree with what you're saying if we're talking about the GOP and the Republican Party.
Yes.
However, I'm using his word literally. Now, maybe the guy writing this article doesn't know what a conservative is either.
Well, I think that's the point here is because conservative and Republican are not commingled there.
No, not anymore.
There might be conservatives that are Republicans, but they're not mutually exclusive there. They are definitely not the same.
Yeah, it's the same. Like you keep bringing up the idea of people talking about democracy versus a republic.
Yes.
See, the conservative is an interchangeable word that's used by both sides of the asylum to meet whatever they need. If they need to criticize somebody, it's a conservative view. It's a conservative ideology. But if they want to paint some kind of bipartisan picture of using John McCain or Lindsey Graham, well, all of a sudden these guys are conservatives, but they're conservatives that agree with progressives. You know so when I read it, I'm glad you brought that up because this is what I thought. You know, when I read this, I went, wow, it's right. Conservatives understand the importance of power. Republicans do not. And so that's where I differed on it. That's why I read it. That's why I didn't try to make any corrections. But I'm glad you brought that up because it is another exercise in how the word conservative and Republican get interchanged today, and they're actually two different animals now.
Yes. Yeah, and that's what I believe this individual was trying to do.
Yeah, you're probably right. I agree. I understand that within the context of your reading what. The person, because understand this guy is a progressive, the guy that wrote this. So yeah, I get you there. I agree with that. But that's good that now you guys listening to us out there understand that. When you hear the word conservative, you need to look at the context in which it is being stated. And if it's being stated by a leftist, then what they're doing is they're trying to convince you that all Republicans are conservatives, therefore conservatism is bad. And that's not the case. Okay, conservatism is bad. It's the antithesis to liberalism and progressivism. Sure, it is. But don't mistake the Republican Party today as some kind of conservative offshoot, some kind of right-wing fringe organization. They're far from that. Okay, they've got a few people in there that are trying to bring the party back to its platform. But that doesn't mean that the Republican Party is not a right-wing fringe outfit, not by any stretch of the imagination. So remember that. I'm glad you brought that up, Joe. It's a good lesson. It's a good lesson in doublespeak, liberal doublespeak.
It just caught my eye, and I was like, no. When you were reading it, it was like, there's something about that. Because I just remember back when the Republicans lost, because, look who they put up. They put up McCain and they put up Romney. Yeah, there's a reason why they lost. Because they put up McCain and they put up Romney. That's why they lost. But I remember hearing the same thing in that autopsy, big air fingers quote, after the election. It was like, what did go wrong? We should probably go more middle of the road, blah, blah, blah. The same thing that happens in your state there of California. Oh, we must put more middle of the road Republicans up so we can feel more like a Democrat. And it's like, hello, why would people vote for a Republican when they can vote for a national Democrat?
Yeah, well, see, and that was a damning thing about the McCain and Romney candidacies. They branded conservatism as something other than what it is.
Yes, thank you. And now it's in the lexicon as the Republican conservative, same thing. No, they're not.
That's right. Okay, guys, we're at the top of the hour here. We got to go to a break. Edward's Notebook, pay some bills. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
If a group of black Chicago thugs beat up and torture a white guy who supports Donald Trump, who in their right mind gives a rip if the thugs hated their victim or not? Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, the last time I checked, you, myself, and every other American have unalienable rights, which include the right to choose who to support for President of the United States. Our unalienable rights come from God and cannot be obstructed by an abusive government or knuckle-dragging thugs. You have the right to live for your own sake, not according to the will of criminals in or outside of government. It was unbelievable to learn that Chicago law enforcement officials struggled to charge the thugs because they couldn't discern if it was a hate crime.
Hate crime! Hate crime! Hate crime!
Well, who cares? How about assault and battery for starters? The thugs even had a female cheerleader who recorded those imitators of vicious chimpanzees. I don't care if those black thugs hated their white victim or not. Throw the bums in jail for a long, long time and let them sort out how they feel for decades behind bars. I'm Ron Edwards.
Blowing away the myths and revealing the truth. You can continue to blow away the myths with Ron Edwards on Facebook, Twitter, and theronedwards.com.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
I think the big problem this country has is being politically correct. I've been challenged by so many people, and I don't frankly have time for total political correctness. And to be honest with you, this country doesn't have time either.
Yes, political correctness is out. American exceptionalism is back, ready to re-empower our republic as one nation under God by restoring our unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives, with your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet, weighing against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together we seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your hosts of the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos. All right, hey, we're back. Hour two right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. You know, today is Martin Luther King's birthday, or we celebrate Martin Luther King's birthday. And before we get more into what's going on here with the Trump inauguration that's coming up in just a few days here, and some of the flak that's still flying, the shrapnel that's still flailing about out there about Donald Trump winning the election against Hillary Clinton, I think let's just take a moment here and just look at the Martin Luther King holiday. And we'll do this in honor of Congressman John Lewis. Okay, the man who marched with Martin Luther King in 1965 and got himself beaten up for trying to protect the black voting rights and everything that has propelled him to office in 1986, where he's done absolutely nothing since. You know, this is probably one of the best arguments for term limits. These guys that are in Congress for 30, 40 years, some of them until they die, don't have a list of anything that they've actually ever done. You know, the bills that they've authored. I looked it up. John Lewis has authored somewhere in the neighborhood of 64 bills that increase taxes on his constituents in the rest of the country. Whereas you look at somebody like the veterans, 2 bills in his entire tenure as a congressman having to deal with veterans. Now, there's the contrast. Anyway, I want to get this because Joe's got I'm going to turn this over to Joe in just a second here. The Martin Luther King Day was a holiday that was promoted by labor unions and contract negotiations. Labor unions in contract negotiations. They were looking for another holiday. U.S. Representative John Conyers, a Democrat, and U.S. Senator Edward Brooke, a Republican from Massachusetts, are the ones that introduced the bill to make it a national holiday. During the Jimmy Carter administration, the bill did not pass. It did not pass the Congress in this 1979, I believe, the year before Jimmy Carter left office. And Ronald Reagan was the one that initiated, I don't know what day it was, but it was reintroduced by Katie Hall of Indiana, a congresswoman out in Indiana, in 1983, and Reagan signed the bill there. So having said that, Joe's got this really nice quote, or a really nice idea here. Joe, you got the con.
Sure. This is from David Horowitz. And you can look up Mr. Horowitz, and you'll know where he's at. He's a recovering progressive. he is. And
he was big time for a long time. Yeah, you're right.
Yes, he admits it. And his quote was, "If we celebrate Martin Luther King's birthday at the time of presidential inaugurals, this is thanks to Ronald Reagan, who created the holiday, and not to the Democrat Congress of the Carter years, which rejected it."
Yeah.
And then I have another quote, and this one should go directly to Mr. John Lewis, congressman from Georgia, the Atlanta area. All right. If blacks are oppressed in America, why isn't there a black exodus? Again, Mr. David Horowitz.
Yeah. You know, if it's so bad here, why aren't you guys all? Why are there not so many people out of the black community out there that are feeling so oppressed and so deprived of their rights? Why aren't you guys getting together with Rosie O'Donnell, Whoopi Goldberg, and Alec Baldwin, and some of the rest of them, and getting them to maybe chip in and get you all airplane tickets out of the place? You can go find someplace else to live. You know, go start your own country, for crying out loud.
Go take over Cuba.
Yeah. Hey, there you go. It wouldn't be hard to do.
You might have to learn a little bit of Spanish, but that's okay. You know, I like Cuban food. You know, I don't smoke, but, you know, if you like cigars, supposedly those are good cigars. You know, hello, you can go there. That's only 90 miles south of Miami.
Yep. All right. So this is our short segment here. We're going to go to break. When we come back, I want to get into, Joe mentioned to me earlier, and I relayed to you, about bikers offering security for the Trump inauguration here. And we've got the left out there in mass. It looks like, at least it sounds like, they're planning to, you know, do as much as they can to disrupt the inauguration and everything else. And it kind of makes me wonder if we're going to have a revisit, a little Vujade or deja vu, depending on how you like to coin the phrase, that perhaps we're going to have a revisiting of the Hells Angels offering security at a Rolling Stones concert. I don't know. Anything could happen. But I guarantee you one thing. If there's violence during this inauguration, it ain't going to come from our side.
Oh, cue up, you know, sympathy for the devil now.
Yeah. All right, guys, stay with us. We'll be right back. We're not arguing. We're explaining why we're right. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing, and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
And now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. All right, we're back. This is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. I want to get into a discussion here about these bikers for Trump. And it just kind of, Joe mentioned it to me prior to the show or during the show, shot me a little note over here. And when I first saw it, I said, yeah, I'd heard about it. I heard that there were a group of bikers that had planned to make the trip down there to D.C. But this group apparently is going for a very defined purpose. And I just looking, if this plays out, we can only speculate here because, the media tries to make things sound a lot. I mean, remember Sharpton did a walk last week. All right. He was a demonstration and they walked, I guess, trying to relive the days of Selma. And it was like 2,000 people showed up and the media tried so hard to make it sound like half of America showed up. And Sharpton's held several events over the last few years that, less than 2,000-3,000 people show up, some of them in the hundreds. And they always try to give this guy some kind of credibility that he doesn't deserve, that kind of stuff. Anyway, so Joe, I'm going to turn this over to you because the article that you sent me here at Breitbart, there's a couple of articles linked to it. I think we really should take a few moments here and talk about what this is and what's happening on our side and what's happening on the other side as we speak. And, where this thing could end up.
Yeah. Okay. So, the inauguration is basically inauguration itself takes place on Friday. I mean, there's going to be some things happening on Thursday. And then again, there's probably going to be something happening on Saturday. And by Sunday, definitely by Monday morning, Trump is going to be out full bore going to work, unlike some of his predecessors who decided to take 7.5 years and go how great they were and hurt themselves, patting themselves on the back. But, these far left protesters that we've heard about before are coming up, and they're going to go ahead and disrupt or try to disrupt the events, especially on Friday. And Mr. Stranahan, Lee Stranahan, who is writing for Breitbart, talks about it. And they got these members, and they're hashtagging Disrupt J20 as some event. But it's basically what he's talking about is a coalition of 75 different anarchists, socialist and communist groups from across the country. And he specifically talks about a couple from back where I grew up, near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania there. And so Pitt Students for a Democrat Society, Pittsburgh Autonomous Student Network, the Pittsburgh Student Solidarity Coalition, Pitt Against Debt, and some Nightshade Pittsburgh. I mean, these are just groups that are out there. But the one thing we wanted to mention was, okay, that we've seen these groups before, and they have done their stuff. All right. What's going to happen though is, these got the Bikers for Trump, and now this is again from Catherine Ross Rodriguez writing for Breitbart. Thousands of bikers are planning to come to Washington D.C. for Trump's inauguration in support of the president-elect. Chris Cox organized a rally for his group of more than 5,000 bikers for Trump that will include musical performances and speakers. And they also said we'll stand up to dangerous protesters. In the event that we are needed, we will form a wall of meat. He said on Fox and Friends, we will be shoulder to shoulder with our brothers and we'll be toe to toe with anyone who's going to break through police barriers. All right. Cox said the group is nonviolent and the bikers will only step in if protesters become violent, i.e. assaulting women, spitting on them, or throwing things at them. Cox started as Bikers for Trump in 2015. And he says the group has grown to about 200,000 members. He said that the group is also hoping to promote a bill that Cox lobbied for, and that to keep the national parks and monuments open, even Washington, D.C. is closed. And you remember when this evil Republicans shut down the government, and Barack Obama, out of just pure spite, decided to close down all the like the World War II Memorial and all that stuff. And he had all these veterans groups that going out there because they make trips to go on there. And let's face it, some of our greatest generation are folks that served in World War II. Right. There's just not many of them left, and they keep dying because of old age, for crying out loud. And these people were, planning trips to go, and it's one of the last things they were going to do in their lifetime. And Mr. Compassion, Barack Obama, said, nah, we're closing that sucker down. So they're trying to do that. But the left-wing protesters are planning their descent upon D.C. during the inauguration. Again, Disrupt J20 plans to create a series of human blockades across D.C. and here's the best part, and destroy public property, just like everything else this administration, the soon-to-be former administration has done. Remember Baltimore? We're going to make a zone for you to go ahead and break things up and burn it.
Yeah, now with some of the things that we're hearing that this Disrupt J20 want to do, this is what they say they're planning. Like I said, I don't know to what degree this is going to happen, because a lot of times the media overplays it. Sometimes they try to make things bigger than they are. Sometimes they miss the boat and it's huge, and they, so we're just talking here in terms of speculation. We're not encouraging actions one way or the other. I'm just telling you, we're just reporting at this point. We're not offering opinion. It's something the media doesn't do anymore, by the way. Okay, now, Disrupt 20. I just want to read you some of the events here that they're saying they're going to have here. I mean, this is going to be comedic, if nothing else. Let's see here. Anti-capitalist, anti-fascist bloc. They're going to try to block access to the inauguration. They're going to try to keep people from getting in to the inauguration. Does that sound like anything familiar to you folks out there? Like maybe Black Lives Matter or Occupy Wall Street?
Sounds a lot like it.
Yeah, doesn't it? Here's another one. Quack blockade, parade queer resistance. Okay, so they're going to bring all the queers out. Climate convergence and Occupy inauguration. Tell me that's not Occupy Wall Street. Okay, so the groups that have been out there all during the Trump election cycle or the presidential election cycle are resurfacing. Imagine that. And I bet you they've got all their pre-printed signs and everything else all ready to go. They're going to have a gay dance parade outside Vice President-elect Michael Pence's home. They're going to go over to his home, apparently, and they're going to have an anti-capitalist protest starting from Logan Circle, and there they plan on property damage. Okay? Let's see. Let's see what else I got here. They're estimating 10,000 civil servants, including police and members of the military, to be there. Let's see. Yada, 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 yada. They say, yeah, we should be able to handle it. Now, who else we got here? Oh, that's the other article there. So what we're seeing here is the potential, and this is what they want. I know when the dust clears here, we're not going to hear it right now, but somewhere shortly after this is over, I want you to remember this name, Bill Ayers. This name is going to surface, folks, again.
George Soros.
Well, George Soros is a money man, but Bill Ayers is the organizer. This guy is still out there. He is one of the key organizers with Black Lives Matter. He has been on TV and admitted such. Bill Ayers. the man who launched Barack Obama's campaign in his living room. All right, this Bill Ayers, the Weather Underground, killed police officers by blowing up police headquarters, tried to bomb the Pentagon, or did he bomb? He tried to bomb the Pentagon. So if you don't think that Barack Obama has a hand in this, you say, well, it's not Barack Obama. These are the same people that pushed Barack Obama into the public eye.
And so he knows who these people are already. He can't say he doesn't know. He just tries to stay away from it, and you know, so he can have this plausible deniability factor. But he knows who these people are.
Yeah, and you know, guilt by association. If nothing,
John, he knows who they are.
Yeah,
he straight up knows who they are.
We can say
heirs.
We have to, at minimum, it's guilt by association. But don't tell me for 1 second that there are not DNC operatives, that they're not operatives from the Clinton campaign, that they're not operatives Jim Messina and Jeremy Byrd and David Axelrod and Bill Ayers and the rest of them. Don't tell me these people aren't involved in this. And what they do is they're flying below the radar. You hear with Barack Obama, he's out there saying, well, you know, people should respect the results of the election. Yeah, so what? But then he follows it up with comments like, but I understand why people might be upset. You know, that's how, and he just walks away. You know, he's just like, let it be, guys. Let it happen. Do it. You get the orders from Command Central, and the commander's on vacation. And so he can't be tied to it. This is the way they work. This is the way the mafia has always worked. Is that the people pulling the strings and pressing the buttons and greasing the palms, they're just sitting in a leather panel chair somewhere, giving the directives to the lieutenants who go out to the muscle and say, this is what you need to do. And they just ride, they're hidden because nobody wants to point to them and say, well, they're the ones doing it. They're the ones behind it. Don't tell me that Barack Obama is not behind this to some degree, that Hillary Clinton's not behind this to some degree. I don't buy that for a minute.
Well, he gives tacit approval to it. I mean, for crying out loud, he gave tacit approval to the riots that happened in Baltimore and St. Louis and every other town there was a riot in. He gave tacit approval to it. Why? Because he didn't send his Department of Justice or anybody else in to stop them.
Yep. So, you know, and here's how you get around with it. Bill and Hillary Clinton are going to be at the inauguration.
Well, I think that's more out of protocol than anything else. I mean,
I know. Yeah, well, I get it.
It's not because, hey, trust me, it's not about a class thing, because we saw Hillary Clinton's class when she refused to go out and speak to her supporters the night of the election.
Yeah, but you know what? The vision I have in my mind, and when I see stuff like that, I get some weird visions sometimes.
Uh-oh.
And I'm sitting there thinking about the movie The Godfather. And after Vito Corleone passes away, and they find out that Barzini is the traitor. And what he does, he's at the church acting as the godfather.
Oh, yes.
To the man that he's about to kill. Okay? His sister's husband he's about to execute because he's responsible for the older son, Sonny, being murdered, right? So and at the same time he's doing this, you see all these scenes, all the other gang leaders are being murdered. As he's renouncing Satan. I'm thinking, this is politics, man. This is what the machine that people like Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton came out of. This idea of, in the public eye, everything is fancy and religious and you know.
Remember, Clinton herself said, hey, there's a public face and a private face.
That's right. And so she's going to be out there on public display while all her cronies are behind the scenes. All that money, maybe some of that money's been diverted from the Clinton Foundation, you know, to the Get Even Foundation. Oh, so yeah, but it's going to be interesting. I don't know how far this will go in terms of them being able to. Of course, they're going to try it, but I don't know how far it's going to escalate, or if it does escalate. Wouldn't it be something? If you have, I think at Obama's inauguration, wasn't there like 2 million people there or something?
Oh, no. There was a lot of people there.
Yeah, I think I read numbers. It was close to 2 million. Can you imagine having 30,000 protesters out there and 1.5 million?
That many.
And I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt here. I don't know how many organizations. I'm talking collectively. I'm saying, you got 300 from there and 200 from there, whatever it is, whatever number it is. You imagine these guys out there, smaller number in proportion to the number of people going to the inauguration. It would be something to all of a sudden see this 1.5 million people look at these protesters and just say, no, not today.
Yeah, it's not going to. Not only these guys are going there, these bikers for Trump are going there, but there are going to be so many actual, no kidding, police there. I mean, they already said that they're treating it like the state visit. They're putting up all the cement trucks and the trucks full of cement, that kind of stuff, to keep anybody from driving their truck through a crowd, like they've done over in Europe in a couple of places. So, Germany and France come to mind. So, I mean, the security is going to be tight. So if you're screwing around with an inauguration, you're about dumb.
Yeah, well, one thing that's missing from this whole thing is how the Democrats aren't out there screaming about the waste of resources to have 10,000 civil servants out there.
They're not screaming about how dare they go against the president. This is how we change. This is what's great about America. This is how we change our government, and we do it peacefully. They're not standing up to that. No. They're not even saying a word about that. Where are they? This is the illegitimate guy. They're not.
No, where are they at? They're all huddled around John Lewis as they watch Donald Trump's Twitter account. That's what's going on here. We got to go to a break. We'll be right back, guys. Stay with us.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest. Who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923, and like them on Facebook and you'll be included in contests and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So, why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-380-2906. That's 800-380-2906. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-380-2906.
Now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. All right, hey, we're back. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, and you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. Now, I want to move on. To another topic here because I think this is really important. I don't know about you, but I do know once all these allegations began to hit about Russia hacking the DNC and third party giving it to WikiLeaks for WikiLeaks to distribute to the public, the same allegations are now being made about the John Podesta email leaks, that it was really Russian operatives at the under the authority of Vladimir Putin that actually went out and got all this information for the purpose of dissuading people to vote for Hillary Clinton and electing Donald Trump. We've been presenting the argument on this show as to why somebody like Vladimir Putin would want Donald Trump in office when having somebody like Hillary Clinton would work so much more to his advantage, given how he just basically mopped the floor with Barack Obama over the last 8 years. And Clinton would be nothing more than an extension of the Obama administration. So that in and of itself, just from a conservative perspective, doesn't make any sense at all. But then now we have something. Apparently, there was a dossier that had been compiled, and in this dossier was information that the Russians were going to use to blackmail Donald Trump. Not to the fact that they couldn't have blackmailed Hillary Clinton because they probably hacked her server and all the other things that she did at the State Department, the pay for play and everything else. But anyway, during the course of all this narrative that's been out there over the last, it's been, I think it's really started to break loose in like June, July of last year. So we're looking at 6 months of it, going on 7 months of this narrative here. And it's gotten so discombobulated that it's sometimes hard to put together what actually happened. How did this narrative form? How did it take shape? How did it come to fruition? How did it get out there in the form that it's in right now? So I thought I would take the time here and share this with you, an actual timeline, so that you can, if you're as confused as I am as to how this all has come about, we need to, that's, if we're going to argue about this kind of stuff, we're going to debate it, we should at least know the facts as much as we can, the real facts, not the ones that are being manufactured, but the facts in terms of how the narrative came to be, how it was actually formed, and where it came from, and how it has, to use a liberal phrase, evolved into what we see right now, which is a campaign to delegitimize the presidency of Donald Trump. All right, here's how it started. And this kind of stuff will blow your mind, because you would think naturally this is something the Democrats did, right? Normally you go, yeah, the Democrats are behind this. Yeah, well, they are. But it didn't originate with the Democrats. It originated with the Republican Party. And why was that? Well, because in September of 2015, it was ascertained that Donald Trump actually had a chance to win. That's when things started to happen. When the GOP establishment came to the realization that this wasn't going to be a cakewalk for Jeb Bush, that was not a shoo-in. He was not guaranteed the nomination like Hillary Clinton was on the Democrat side. Well, all of a sudden it was like, wow, we got to do something. Donald Trump at least became legitimate enough that operatives in the GOP, under the auspice of the establishment, decided they had to do something to destroy Trump. So a GOP donor, unnamed at this point, unnamed as far as I know, I don't think they've ever put a name to it, a GOP donor, which is establishment, okay, GOP donor, money equals establishment, hired a company called Fusion GPS, which, by the way, is based over in England, to compile opposition research on Donald Trump. Notice it wasn't Democrats at this point. It was a GOP operative who set about the task of trying to find something on Donald Trump they could float out there that they could destroy Donald Trump with. All right? Well, apparently somewhere down the line, that kind of fell off to the wayside, and this GOP donor, or the people he was involved with, decided that what the information they were receiving, and it wasn't going to really go anywhere. There wasn't anything that of any substantiated substance that they could throw out there. So they let it go. But by this time, they had joined into an alliance with the DNC. And in spring of 2016, 6 months later, right, is that right? September, October, November, January, somewhere around there, 7 months later, 2016, the Clinton allies began paying Fusion GPS. Clinton allies. The DNC hired the same company, Fusion GPS, to compile more opposition on Donald Trump. See, by this time, everybody knew Donald Trump was a serious contender. So all of a sudden, okay, that's what happens. We got to go after these guys. This is the way people like Mitt Romney got brought down, is that they found just enough information to start floating out there about the tax returns, that kind of stuff. Driving down the street with his dog on the roof of the car, all these other things, right? Didn't pay taxes in 20 years. Has secret accounts in the Cayman Islands. This all began to erode the image of Mitt Romney as being some kind of man of moral integrity. In June 2016, Fusion GPS hires former MI6 officer Christopher Steele to investigate Trump's ties to Russia. What is that? What's significance of that date? That is when the leaks began. The DNC leaks, and later on the WikiLeaks leaks about John Podesta. But the DNC, that's when it was first reported that somebody had, quote-unquote, hacked the DNC and had given this information over to WikiLeaks. We know from what we believe is that the DNC, there was a leak. There was an internal leak inside. Somebody leaked this information to WikiLeaks. But you'll remember Nancy Pelosi trotting out about that time, talking about the fact that these allegations that are going to be surfacing about the DNC hack and some of the things that are going on, the collusion to make sure that Bernie Sanders didn't make it and all this other stuff, well, it might have Russian influence. Russia might be behind it. That's when it began to be an allegation that Russia was trying to influence the election. Not a lot of attention paid to it, but she was floating it out there. All right? This Steele begins to talk to Russian contacts that apparently he had while he was an agent with the MI6 over in England. And then what he did was he began to issue a series of memos based on what he was told. Not facts, basically gossip. People were saying, well, I heard this or I heard that or I think this is what's going on. So-and-so told me this, the friend of the gardener's uncle, that kind of thing. And he began to write memos on this stuff and began to circulate it back to the people who had hired him. In August of 2016, this is when just prior to the John Podesta emails, these memos found their way into the hands of John McCain, who then in turn turned them over to the FBI. Wow. You wonder why John McCain is such a neocon and why he is such an establishment type? So apparently, I don't know where John McCain fit into the formula in the beginning of this. I think it's safe to assume he must have had some kind of relationship with the GOP donor that started this whole thing. Or maybe he was the one that did it. Maybe he went to the donor and said, hey, we need to go out and do something. We need to stop Trump. We need some money. I don't know. We can speculate. If they can speculate, why can't we? October 2016, a far-left magazine, I believe this was BuzzFeed, it might be somebody else, they don't name it, ran a story about the anti-Trump operation. That this was the beginning of it, that somebody was out there trying to discredit, somebody was out there trying to put together some information to destroy Donald Trump. But the media did not pick up the story because nothing could be validated or substantiated. It was all memos from this operative that was basically based on hearsay. Nothing to validate, nothing to substantiate. And so the media, in a moment of integrity, decided not to do anything with it. The story didn't go anywhere. Now, we fast forward here. The election comes and goes. Hillary Clinton loses big. And the allegations begin to resurface, excuse me, and then they're repainted as actual truth. Why? Because we have intelligence agencies out there telling us that they're true. Everything that we have, all the models that we have, all the past history indicates that this might be Russia. Still no real absolute accusations in the beginning. And then it begins to evolve. It really turned up, the heat really turned up after James Comey came out just a week before the election and said, oh, we got to reinvestigate Hillary Clinton, or the investigation's still on. We never really closed it. We got Anthony Weiner's laptop out here. And so now we felt that Congress should know that we are looking into this laptop that we didn't know that was out there that's got all these emails on it. Somebody in Congress leaked that information. And so it came out into the public arena, and people believe that, and it very well could have been a major influence on people not to vote for Hillary Clinton. Could have been. Might have been. I don't know. Could have, would have, should have. I don't know. But the point being is that ever since when Hillary lost, it was a combination of the FBI and these allegations about Russia interference. You'll remember also, I believe we also reported on this show, that just before the election, they were talking about Trump having Russian ties to a bank, Alpha Bank. So all these things are beginning to come together. But nothing is still substantiated. Everything is opinion, assessments, allegations, nothing of real substance. Well, then the kimchi hits the fan here, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. We got to go to a short break. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here. There is an old saying, children should be seen but not heard. At no time is this more apparent than when politicians speak. The Conservative Syndicate.net, the adult in the room. Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardosa. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardosa Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them their potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The Alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring. Now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. Okay, hey, we're back, and this is the Conservative Syndicate, and let's get back to our little dossier timeline here so that we have I hope to get this out to you before we end the show today, just so you can just kind of put things in chronological order. So that when you listen to the media try to dance around with this thing, you can, put some sense to it and be able to articulate it in such a way, at least in your own mind, as to what's actually coming down the pipe here. And, Joe, you had some comments on what we've done covered up here so far.
Yeah, I would just like to reiterate that this is all fake news. None of this stuff is proven. These are all just hearsay allegations. And, again, this is all drummed up in an effort to discredit Donald Trump. And as you reiterated and told us before, it started with the GOP. We do have, and I still have in my possession, the op research done by the Democrat National Committee, but that's to be expected when you're running against a Republican, quote unquote. But to have the establishment Republicans do this to one of their own shows us how deep the swamp needs to be drained.
Yeah, it definitely does. The fact that this originated within the GOP establishment, this just colors everybody in the GOP. From the operatives to people like Mitt Romney to Paul Ryan to Mitch McConnell to the whole gang of them. That they remained complicit, once again, complicit and silent on the sidelines while all this was going on, and just trying to, if they were confronted with it, trying to sound like they gave a damn, but they really didn't, and they really don't. So let's keep things into perspective here, okay? Let me get these last 3 points here real quick. Here, there's 3 more little events here because I want to try to get to a couple of the major points as to, what's going on here. January 9th, 2017, you remember Barack Obama went on vacation. He set out an order. I want to report on this Russian hacking thing by the time I get back.
Yeah.
Only took 3 weeks, by the way. When have you ever known the government to compile a report in 3 weeks?
Yeah, and why? Oh, I got to find out something. I have to have a lasting legacy here.
Yeah. And, of course, I guess it's easy to compile a report when you don't have any information to compile.
Well, it's also easier to compile a report when you don't have to worry about it being factual.
Yeah. So, Obama is briefed by the intelligence agencies that this series of memos from this Chris Steele, MI6 operative over in Britain, is out there because it's going to be leaked. Intelligence sources said they had a pretty good feeling it was going to be leaked to the public, and they didn't want Obama caught off guard. So they briefed Barack Obama. And then in turn they said, well, since we briefed Barack Obama, we probably should brief Donald Trump.
Since we're going to be working for him.
Yeah. And so the intelligence community is maintaining the narrative that they only talked about this this dossier to protect both Barack Obama and Donald Trump. You guys should know that this is coming into the public eye. But then the intelligence agencies also denied that they were the ones that leaked it. So, you got to ask yourself these questions, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. I want to finish up the points here. The next day, Trump was told about the memos, the day after Barack Obama was briefed. Joe Biden had claimed, by the way, that the memos Obama was in dismay that these memos had been included, that he said, why are they even here? This is gossip, that kind of thing. Yeah, like he really said that. All right. CNN then receives a report. It's leaked to CNN that the memos had been given to Obama and Trump. BuzzFeed, who had the memos, in turn decides they're going to publish the memos now. They had a license to publish them because it had been reported that the intelligence community had briefed Barack Obama and Donald Trump of their existence. Therefore, they've now become valid. Now it's substance because they were told about it.
Yeah.
Okay? So now it got out into the public arena, and in the words of BuzzFeed, we want the American people to be able to decide for themselves. Right. After all the narrative being hammered out there about the legitimacy of Donald Trump, we're going to give a fabricated dossier that's nothing more than gossip by a foreign agent, by the way. MI6 is not an American intelligence agency, by the way. Okay? Now, my points here, real quick here. We got just a few moments here. First of all, the Republican establishment began this search through an operative. That's where you got it. The origination of this thing was the Republican establishment out to destroy Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Hillary Clinton, while claiming she was going high, remember her always talking, Michelle Obama, my good friend Michelle Obama says, when they go low, we go high. She's out there telling everybody she's going high, but the DNC is in collusion with Clinton to get her elected and to fund this dossier search. Yeah, she was really going high, right? The intelligence community briefed everyone knowing the memos were going to be leaked. That's an important point. By whom were they leaked? And how did the intelligence community know they were going to get out there, especially when the intelligence community denied being part of it? See, that's what I don't believe the intelligence community have any integrity anymore. As I said, everything that Clintons touch, they pollute, they corrupt. And I think the intelligence agencies is no different. And let's remember, folks, the intelligence agencies, the CIA, the FBI, the CIA especially, are experts in misinformation. They know how to propagandize because that's what they do. That's their job. It's called covert operations. All right? CNN has a history of collusion with the DNC. We found that out through the email leaks. And we found out that they colluded. They allowed Donna Brazile to give questions. They had reporters asking Hillary to check the quotes and tell us what you want us to print, basically. So we know that and that's why CNN was chosen to leak too, okay? And now here's the main point here. Remember we mentioned this a few weeks ago? Obama signed the Countering Disinformation and Propaganda Act just for things like this. Just for things like this. A signal to the left will be used items like this. This thing is being used to do what? It's to create a ministry of truth. It's to allow the government to step in and determine what is real, what isn't, what is propaganda, what is not. They decide. If that law was being enforced right now, this would be legitimate news right now. While everything else that Donald Trump is tweeting would be illegitimate. That would be the propaganda. There you go. So Obama is leaving the White House physically. I can guarantee you the spirit of that evil man will linger and hover over that place for decades to come. He's not going away, folks. He's going to come back just like a repackaged leftist agenda. He's going to go back to being a community organizer. Mark my words, this man is far from over. Hillary Clinton might be done, but I guarantee you Barack Obama has just started. Having said that, we're coming up at the end of the show here. Joe, you got any parting comments? We got about 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think we're going to have more on this ministry of truth that Barack Obama and his friends in Congress helped just birth out of thin air we're going to have some more on this because I'm not letting that go.
Yeah. You really got to know what's happening here, guys. All right. Thanks so much for listening to us today. We'll be back tomorrow. Don Dix from Act for America will be with us. Audrey Russo from Real Talk Radio. We love you. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Conservative Syndicate, the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated, politically incorrect talk show that seeks to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state. We want to make you aware you can find and access all our show archives at our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, as well as our broadcast stations and times. That's theconservativesyndicate.net. We so appreciate you taking the time to tune in, and we so look forward to continuing to bring you the best in uncompromised talk radio available on the net today. And remember, folks, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down in life. It only matters how many times you get up. I'm John Matthews, along with Joe Hako, signing off until next time right here at the Conservative Syndicate. God bless you, and may God continue to bless America.